Hey, what's up, guys? Scott here, back once more with another video. Alright, so, start off. I just finished watching Ironheart, the new MCU series Ironheart, a couple nights ago. And I did not care for it. And I hated the ending. The ending ruined it for me. I thought the show had great potential leading up to that point. Now, the first half of the series... Now, Riri Williams Ironheart is not the most likable character at first, for sure. You know, she's doing very questionable things, and and she's kind of arrogant at first, and it's definitely not a very likable character at first. But the story in the first 3 episodes I thought was really interesting. And then the second half, I was like, at the end of the first 3 episodes, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. I'm interested to see where we're going. And then the second half of the series set her on a path to redemption. I thought she starts being a little more humble, realizes what she's doing isn't right, starts trying to do better and get out of it, helping, and then so you think by the end, like, oh man, okay, here we go. They're finally going to make her a hero. And in the comics, Riri Williams is very humble, very kind-hearted, noble, very happy to learn from the older heroes like Tony Stark and Storm and even Captain Marvel have all had relationships like that with her in the comics. So it's like, okay, we're gonna get the Ironheart we want, the fans want. And then the ending just went right off the cliff. They pulled the rug out from any of the fans, me included, that wanted to see that character succeed. They just ruined it, man. Like, oh, I was so angry and frustrated. And so with how much I hated how they screwed up Ironheart, Riri Williams, there is a handful, quite a few characters that the MCU has done really well with post Endgame. And so I'm going to call it Riri Williams Ironheart. This is how you do not handle a hero, a good guy in the MCU. But these 10 characters I'm going to list, I think they've handled really well in the MCU post Endgame. So this let's get started. Number 1, Kate Bishop. Great character. Haley Steinfeld plays the character so well. She starts out, so she was actually you see in the first scene of the Hawkeye show, you see a flashback to the Battle of New York with Loki and the Chitauri, and you see her as a little girl looking through a window, seeing Hawkeye battling the Chitauri. A great callback moment, and sets up her character very well. And her father is killed in the Battle of New York, so but seeing Hawkeye, the death of her father, plus seeing Hawkeye battle the Chitauri inspires her to become a hero in her own right. So we flash forward to after the events of Endgame and all that, and we see her training in archery, so she's setting out to become a hero, and then her first night out with fighting some bad guys, it does not fare well for her very well. So she gets beaten and humbled. So Clint takes her under her wing to train her, and she is very willing to learn, kind of fangirl at first, but she matures. Her and Clint trains her, and they help each other out. They never overshadow each other in the show. They work together. It's a great mentor-mentee relationship, and by the end of it, she is a way better archer than she was, and a hero than she was at the beginning. So she has a good journey in this show, from being humbled to being trained, to finally by the end working together with Hawkeye, not overshadowing him. They work together to defeat Kingpin and the Tracksuit Mafia. So great arc for this character, and I can't wait to see more of her going into Avengers Doomsday. So alright, number 2, kind of the same thing, Elena Belova, the new Black Widow, essentially, even though she's not called that, but essentially a replacement for Natasha, her little adoptive sister, and when we see them introduced, I love their sisterly banter, and but they never, it's always, it's funny, but she never overshadows Natasha. And even though Natasha's gone, she's trying to honor Natasha's legacy. She's not like, I'm going to be a better spy or hero than Natasha ever was. She's very humble. Natasha's death has inspired her, especially after events of Thunderbolt. She's now an Avenger. So yes, Yelena Belova has been handled so well. And I'm excited to see more of her going into Doomsday. All right, number 3, kind of different, but Namor, the king of the undersea kingdom of Talocan, kind of like Atlantis, kind of like the MC version of Atlantis. He's a mutant. He's very powerful. And he's introduced as this character who absolutely despises the surface world. But by the end of the movie, he's only been in one movie, Wakanda Forever, but by the end of the movie, he learns to kind of chill out a little bit. Like, maybe not all surface dwellers are evil. He has a truce with Wakanda by the end of the movie that he won't attack, as long as things are kept in check. So anyway, and I'm excited to see more of him going into Doomsday. All these characters are going to be in Avengers Doomsday. So and then so I like Namor. Like, he kind of goes from hating all the surface dwellers to being willing to ally with them if the situation calls for it, which in Avengers Doomsday that will be the case. So number 4, Kamala Khan, another great example of a new younger hero that's very humble and willing to be trained and taught by the older hero. In this case, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, just like Clint Barton, Hawkeye with Kate Bishop. She's kind of fangirly at first, but she matures. She learns, to work with Captain Marvel. She doesn't try to overshadow Captain Marvel. Another great. This character has a great arc through her show and then through the Marvels. By the end, she's a more mature hero and is building her own Young Avengers team. So I'm excited to see more of her. Number 5. Now we're getting to kind of the anti-heroes. Number 5, Ava Starr, Ghost. So the caveat here is that she was actually introduced pre-Endgame in Ant-Man 2, or Ant-Man and the Wasp. But she had no role whatsoever in Infinity War Endgame. She hasn't had a prominent role since then till Thunderbolts, and she's now one of the new Avengers. And she has a great arc where she goes from this assassin type character, to being learning to help people more and care about the team more. She goes from saying in Thunderbolts, like, I only came back because I had to when Yelena enters the void, she's the first one of the team to say, no, I'm going after her. That really shows her character arc. And now she's one of the new Avengers. I'm so excited to see her back for Avengers Doomsday. Okay, on that same note, let's go to number 6, John Walker, U.S. Agent, the original new Captain America, because in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, Sam originally gave the shield back to the government. He didn't feel he was worthy of taking out the mantle of Captain America, so the government gave the shield to John Walker. So John Walker was in the MCU canon the original new Captain America after Steve Rogers. Now, he wasn't it very long, give you, but still. But he's a lot more brutal than Steve Rogers was, and Sam, and a lot more aggressive, like kind of questionable. He comes across as very egotistical, narcissistic at first, which he is, but he has great growth through the show Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then going into Thunderbolts, where he's still kind of a narcissist and stuff, but he does humble a lot by the end and learns to work together with the team, and he's going out of his way to help save civilians at the end, and by the end he's one of the new Avengers, and excited to see where he goes going into Avengers Doomsday. So yes, John Walker, U.S. Agent, great arc. Red Guardian, Natasha and Yelena's adoptive father. So kind of a goofball at first. He was a Russian superhero who was kind of the Russian version of Captain America, but he kind of got disgraced and was thrown into prison. But so he's kind of a goofball at first, but he has a great arc where he learns to be going through the Black Widow movie and Thunderbolts. He becomes a hero again, gets his old suit back, and through Black Widow and Thunderbolts, he has this great arc where by the end he's still funny, but also more serious now. He's one of the new Avengers and learns to be part of a team, and now is on a team with his daughter, Yelena, and his other daughter, Natasha, was a part of the previous Avengers team, so now he's an Avenger with his daughter. I love that dynamic. And he's confirmed for Doomsday too, so I'm so excited to see more of him. All right, number 8, Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon. Another example of a new character training under an established character veteran like Sam Wilson, the new Captain America. So Joaquin Torres, his arc is he's really over eager at first to get into action. He's not bad. He doesn't try to overshadow Sam. He's not arrogant. He's over eager to get into action. And then in Captain America: Brave New World, and during the fight around Tiamat Island, he gets shot out of the sky by a missile. So that is severely injured. So by the end, he's humbled a lot going into Doomsday. Like, he needs to really mature a lot and be more serious on the battlefield and watch more what he's doing. So, but I'm excited to see. But he's very humble. He wants to learn from Sam. He doesn't try to overshadow Sam. So, Joaquin Torres has been handled really well. I'm excited to see more of him. All right, so number 9. This is gonna be kind of a controversial one, but please hear me out. She-Hulk. Okay. The show itself, there were some parts I liked. I love the Daredevil episode. That was great. But overall, the show itself was a bit of a disappointment because, the writing and the humor, just a lot of it didn't work. But the character herself has a lot of potential. They got the look right. They got the costume, the suit right. There's a lot of... unlike Ironheart, this character still has a lot of potential because they didn't squander her by the end, I think. There's still a lot of potential for this character to, if she's written well in the Avengers movies, to be awesome. The actress Tatiana Maslany, great casting. I mean, she was a great She-Hulk, but there's still a lot of potential for this character to be handled well. And I think the series leaves her off in a place where, there's still hope for that character. So, and now with Kevin Feige back, directing things more, that character still hopefully will be handled way better moving forward. But the character itself, I love, and still has a lot of potential to be used well. So, all right, let's wrap it up. Number 10, Monica Rambeau. So, we first meet her as a little girl in the first Captain Marvel movie, and we don't meet her as an adult until after the events of Endgame. And she's kind of has a lot of disdain for Captain Marvel for leaving her as a little girl. And when Carol said, "I'll be back before you know it." But of course, Carol's off fighting the Kree and all the other bad guys and Thanos and everyone throughout the galaxy because she's the only heroes that can travel in space. So, but Monica was upset with her for not coming back. But anyway, in the Marvels, they forgive each other. They learn to team up and work together. Monica humbles a lot, and by the end, she sacrifices she sacrifices her life, but she goes to the other side of this wormhole that's been opened. And she has to stay to close it. So she sacrifices being with her friends and family to close this wormhole that's been tore open in space-time. And by the end, she's in a universe with the X-Men. So, yeah, she's going to be a huge part of Doomsday, bringing the Avengers and the X-Men together. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more of Monica Rambeau going forward. Great character with her powers and, a bridge between the X-Men and the Avengers. So, these 10 characters, I think, the MCU has handled really well. This is how you handle a character. Ironheart, Riri Williams, how you don't handle a character that fans want to see successful. So, anyway, guys, in the case of She-Hulk, the character has a lot of potential still, unlike Ironheart, who's been ruined. So, anyway, guys, I'm excited to see what's coming up for these characters, and tell me what you think of these characters. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.